Here's what car dealers will never tell you when you're browsing their lots. What if I told you that one luxury electric sedan has already lost over 60% of its value in just 3 years? That's not market correction. That's financial destruction happening to real owners who thought they were making smart purchases. Picture yourself driving off the lot in your dream car, only to discover that your $116,000 investment is now worth just $45,000. In this video, I'm exposing the 10 cars that will be completely worthless by 2026. And trust me, number 1 will shock you. It's a vehicle that most people still think is the pinnacle of automotive technology. Stay until the end, because this isn't just automotive news. It's your guide to avoiding the catastrophic financial mistake that's destroying car owners' wealth right now. Number 10. Land Rover Range Rover Sport and Discovery. Starting our countdown at number 10, we have the Land Rover Range Rover Sport and Discovery. These vehicles represent everything wrong with over-engineered luxury. Land Rover maintenance costs are nearly double the industry average, ranking as the second most expensive brand to maintain after Bentley. The 10-year maintenance cost exceeds $18,000, but that's just the beginning. The real killer is the air suspension system. This complex setup provides an incredibly smooth ride when it works, but it consistently fails after 6 to 10 years. The repair bills are staggering. We're talking thousands of dollars to replace components that should last the life of the vehicle. But the air suspension is just one problem in a long list of expensive failures. Mechanics report timing chain repairs costing up to $20,000. That's not a typo. $20,000 for a single repair on a vehicle that's already lost most of its value. The timing chain issue affects multiple model years and engine configurations, making it a widespread problem rather than an isolated incident. Beyond these major repairs, Land Rover owners deal with constant electrical gremlins. The sophisticated computer systems that control everything from the infotainment to the engine management are prone to failure. When these systems go down, they often require specialized diagnostic equipment and expensive replacement parts that can only be sourced from Land Rover dealers. The Range Rover Sport ranks among the most expensive luxury cars to maintain, and when you combine that with Land Rover's reputation for electrical problems, engine management computer failures, and various leaks throughout the vehicle, you're looking at a situation where a single major repair can exceed the car's total resale value. This creates a death spiral where owners are forced to either dump massive amounts of money into repairs or abandon the vehicle entirely. Number 9. Cadillac Escalade. At number 9, the Cadillac Escalade represents American luxury at its most financially dangerous. While a 2023 model showed relatively modest depreciation, a 2022 model lost 39% of its value in just 3 years. This steep depreciation curve punishes anyone who bought slightly older models, creating a situation where timing your purchase wrong can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. The Escalade's 6.2-liter V8 engine has documented problems with excessive oil consumption and timing chain wear. These aren't minor issues that develop after 200,000 miles. They're problems that can appear within the first 50,000 miles of ownership. The oil consumption issue is particularly frustrating because it's not always covered under warranty, leaving owners to constantly top off their oil or face potential engine damage. The timing chain problems are even more serious. When the timing chain stretches or the tensioners fail, it can cause catastrophic engine damage. The repair involves removing the engine front cover and replacing multiple components, often costing $3,000 to $5,000, depending on the extent of the damage. Add electrical issues, infotainment failures, and advanced suspension problems, and you're looking at an average annual maintenance cost of $1,127. The 10-year maintenance cost hits nearly $15,000, far exceeding the luxury SUV average. But these figures represent averages. The reality for many owners is much worse. The Escalade's advanced systems are impressive when they work, but they create multiple points of failure. The magnetic ride control suspension system, while providing excellent handling, uses expensive sensors and actuators that fail over time. The CUE infotainment system has been notorious for freezing, crashing, and becoming completely unresponsive, often requiring expensive replacement of the entire head unit. Number 8. Dodge Durango. The Dodge Durango at number 8 proves that American engineering problems aren't limited to luxury brands. This three-row SUV has one of the worst 5-year resale values in the market, retaining just 35.3% of its original price. The 5-year cost of ownership ranges from $60,623 to over $81,000, with more than $30,000 being pure depreciation. But the depreciation is just the tip of the iceberg. The Durango has a documented history of systemic problems that affect multiple model years. The 2011 model year was infamous for a faulty, totally integrated power module that caused widespread electrical problems. This single component failure could affect everything from the fuel pump to the ignition system, often stranding owners and requiring expensive repairs. The TIPM problems weren't isolated to 2011. Multiple model years have experienced similar issues, creating a pattern of electrical failures that the market has learned to avoid. When a single component can cause multiple system failures, it creates a cascading effect that turns minor problems into major repair bills. Beyond the electrical gremlins, owners report chronic engine stalling problems that can be extremely dangerous. Imagine driving on a busy highway when your engine suddenly cuts out without warning. These stalling issues often stem from fuel system problems or sensor failures that can be difficult to diagnose and expensive to fix. The suspension system has also been a consistent problem area. Some owners have reported that their wheels nearly fell off due to suspension component failures. These aren't wear and tear issues that develop gradually. They're sudden failures that can create dangerous driving situations and expensive emergency repairs. The transmission in the Durango has also shown problems across multiple model years. Owners report harsh shifting, slipping, and complete transmission failures that can cost $4,000 to $6,000 to repair or replace. When you're dealing with a vehicle that's already depreciating rapidly, a major transmission repair can instantly make the car worth less than the repair costs. Let me pause here to mention something important. If you're finding this information valuable for your car buying decisions, consider subscribing to stay updated on automotive financial analysis like this. We research these trends so you don't have to learn them the expensive way. Number 7. Maserati Ghibli and Levante. At number 7, we have the Maserati Ghibli and Levante. These Italian luxury vehicles embody style over substance, and the market is finally catching on. While specific depreciation figures vary, luxury vehicles from brands with poor reliability reputations typically see steep value declines. Maserati ranks among the most expensive brands to maintain, with 10-year costs exceeding $11,000. But the real problems go much deeper than routine maintenance. The Levante faced a serious 2017 recall for engine software issues that could cause the vehicle to unexpectedly shift into neutral or shut off at low speeds. Think about that for a moment. You're driving through an intersection and your $80,000 luxury SUV suddenly loses power. That's not just expensive, that's potentially life-threatening. But software recalls are just the beginning. Owners consistently report transmission problems that go far beyond normal wear and tear. The transmission slipping and delayed shifting issues are often caused by worn clutch components and fluid leaks that develop prematurely. These aren't problems that appear after 150,000 miles. They're showing up in vehicles with less than 50,000 miles on the odometer. The clutch problems in Maserati vehicles are particularly expensive because they often require specialized tools and parts that can only be sourced from authorized dealers. A clutch replacement that might cost $2,000 on a mainstream vehicle can easily cost $6,000 or more on a Maserati due to the complexity of the system and the cost of parts. Number 6. Infiniti QX80. The Infiniti QX80 at number 6 represents the pinnacle of ownership cost nightmares. The 5-year cost of owning a QX80 reaches an astounding $119,584. Let that sink in. Nearly $120,000 to own a vehicle for 5 years, with over $71,000 of that being pure depreciation. That means you could buy this SUV today and watch it lose $14,000 in value every single year. The QX80 has a 33.22% chance of requiring a major repair costing over $500 within its first 10 years. While that might not sound terrible compared to some other luxury vehicles, remember that this is on top of the massive depreciation and high fuel and insurance costs. The vehicle's thirsty V8 engine regularly requires premium fuel and delivers poor fuel economy, adding thousands to your annual operating costs. Insurance costs for the QX80 are also significantly higher than average due to its size, value, and repair costs. The vehicle's complex systems and expensive parts make even minor accident repairs costly, which insurance companies factor into their premium calculations. Number 5. Tesla Model S and X. At number 5, we have Tesla's flagship models, the Model S and X. This might surprise some people, but Tesla's relentless innovation is actually destroying the value of older models. A Model S is projected to depreciate by 71% after 5 years. The Model S Plaid, originally priced over $150,000, lost 60% of its value in just a couple of years. The problem is constant updates. Tesla's software and hardware improvements make older models feel outdated quickly. When you buy a Model S today, Tesla might release a better version tomorrow with improved range, faster charging, or new features that immediately make your car feel obsolete. It's like buying a smartphone that becomes outdated every year, except the smartphone costs 6 figures. Tesla's approach to pricing makes this problem even worse. The company regularly adjusts prices up and down based on demand and production capacity. This means that someone who bought a Model S for $100,000 might watch Tesla reduce the price to $80,000 6 months later, instantly destroying $20,000 in value through no fault of the owner. The real financial bomb waiting for Tesla owners is battery replacement. Outside of warranty, a Tesla battery replacement can cost between $15,000 and $22,000. This isn't just a significant expense. It's often more than the entire value of an older Tesla model. When a 2015 Model S needs a new battery, the replacement cost can exceed what the car is worth. This creates a unique situation in the used car market. Potential buyers of older Teslas have to factor in the possibility of needing a battery replacement, which destroys demand and drives down prices. A 2016 Model S might look like a bargain at $35,000, but when you add the potential battery replacement cost, you're looking at a total investment that approaches the price of a new vehicle. Number 4. Audi e-tron. The Audi e-tron at number 4 shows how brutal the early electric vehicle market has become. A 2023 e-tron depreciated 62% in just 2 years, plummeting from nearly $72,000 to just over $27,000. Owners report being shocked by this value destruction, with some losing half their investment in 3 years. The e-tron represents everything wrong with first-generation luxury electric vehicles. When Audi launched the e-tron, it was positioned as a Tesla competitor with luxury appointments and solid build quality. However, the vehicle launched with technology that was already behind the curve and has only fallen further behind as newer EVs have entered the market. The e-tron's problems go far beyond just rapid depreciation. The vehicle suffers from lackluster range compared to newer EVs. While 200 miles might have seemed adequate in 2019, today's EV buyers expect 300+ miles of range. This makes the e-tron feel obsolete compared to newer electric vehicles that offer significantly better efficiency and range. The charging speeds are also disappointing compared to newer EVs. While the e-tron can charge relatively quickly, it's been surpassed by newer vehicles that can add hundreds of miles of range in just 15 to 20 minutes. This technological gap only widens as charging technology continues to improve. But the real problems begin when things go wrong. The e-tron has a documented history of battery recalls, charging errors, and motor coolant leaks. These aren't minor issues that can be fixed with a software update. They're fundamental problems that require expensive hardware repairs or replacements. The motor coolant leak issue is particularly concerning because it can cause permanent damage to the electric drivetrain if not addressed quickly. The specialized coolant and complex sealing systems make these repairs expensive and time-consuming. Number 3. Nissan Leaf. At number 3, the Nissan Leaf represents the dark side of being an early EV adopter. This electric pioneer has experienced such severe depreciation that used Leafs are now cheaper than new Nissan Versas, the brand's least expensive new car. A 2022 Leaf has lost 58% of its value in just 3 years, with current resale values hovering around $12,000. The primary culprit behind this catastrophic value loss is battery degradation. Early Leaf models, especially the 2014 and 2015 redesigns, lacked thermal management systems for their batteries. This might sound like a minor technical detail, but it created a major real-world problem. Without proper temperature control, the batteries degraded much faster than expected, sometimes losing significant capacity within just a few years. The results are devastating for owners. The driving range can drop by 47% in cold weather, making these vehicles impractical for many daily driving situations. Imagine buying a car that promises 100 miles of range, only to discover that in winter conditions, you can barely drive 50 miles before needing to find a charging station. But the temperature sensitivity is just part of the problem. Even in moderate climates, early Leaf batteries showed rapid capacity loss that made the vehicles progressively less useful over time. An owner might start with a car that could handle their daily commute, only to find after 3 years that the battery had degraded to the point where the car could no longer meet their basic transportation needs. While newer Leaf models have improved thermal management, the stigma from the early models continues to affect the entire model line. The used car market has learned to be extremely wary of any Leaf, regardless of model year, because of the battery degradation reputation. Number 2, BMW 7 Series. At number 2, the BMW 7 Series represents German over-engineering at its most expensive. A 3-year-old 7 Series dropped from an original MSRP of $108,000 to just $50,700, losing over half its value. But the massive depreciation is just the beginning of your financial problems with this luxury sedan. The 7 Series is notorious for expensive system failures that can bankrupt unsuspecting owners. The air suspension system provides an incredibly smooth, cloud-like ride when it's working properly, but it consistently fails after several years of use. When the air suspension goes bad, you're not looking at a simple shock replacement. You're facing a complex repair that can easily cost $4,000 to $6,000. The air suspension failure isn't just expensive, it's also progressive. The system typically doesn't fail all at once. Instead, individual components fail over time, creating a situation where you might spend $2,000 fixing one corner, only to have another corner fail 6 months later. This creates an ongoing financial drain that can continue for years. The iDrive infotainment system represents another major financial liability. This complex computer system controls everything from navigation to climate control, and it's prone to glitches, freezing, and complete system crashes. When the iDrive system fails, it often requires replacement of the entire head unit, which can cost $3,000 to $5,000 depending on the specific system and model year. Number 1, Mercedes-Benz EQS. Taking the top spot as the most financially dangerous car heading into 2026, the Mercedes-Benz EQS represents everything wrong with early luxury electric vehicles. Despite being objectively impressive with over 422 miles of range and cutting-edge technology, this flagship electric sedan has experienced the most catastrophic value destruction in modern automotive history. A 3-year-old EQS has plummeted from an original MSRP of $116,000 to just $45,500. That's a loss of over 60% in 3 years, representing one of the worst value retentions ever recorded. To put this in perspective, the average EQS owner has watched their investment lose over $23,000 per year in value. That's nearly $2,000 per month in depreciation alone. This isn't about poor quality or unreliable engineering. The EQS is actually a remarkably well-built vehicle with impressive technology and luxury appointments. The problem is that it represents the bleeding edge of early EV technology, and the market moves so fast that today's cutting edge becomes tomorrow's obsolete technology. The EQS's famous hyperscreen, which seemed revolutionary when it was introduced, now feels gimmicky compared to newer EV interfaces that focus on functionality over flash. The massive curved display that spans the entire dashboard was supposed to represent the future of automotive interfaces, but it's proven to be more style than substance. Early EQS models also suffer from the typical growing pains of first-generation technology. The sophisticated software systems that control everything from charging to climate control have shown reliability issues that require expensive dealer visits to resolve. When these complex systems malfunction, they often require replacement of entire modules rather than simple repairs. The charging system, while advanced, has also shown problems with compatibility and reliability. Some owners have reported issues with DC fast charging that can leave them stranded or force them to use slower charging methods. These charging problems often require software updates or hardware replacements that can only be performed at Mercedes dealerships. By 2026, the EQS will likely be worth a fraction of its original price, making it one of the most expensive mistakes a car buyer can make today. The sophisticated technology that justifies its high price today will be standard equipment on much cheaper vehicles tomorrow, leaving EQS owners holding a very expensive bag. Now that you know which cars to avoid, you need to see the complete opposite. Check out my video on 15 cars that seniors can buy without hesitation in 2025. These are the reliable, affordable vehicles that will actually serve you well for years to come.